We'll call the meeting of order and state that the notice for this meeting was duly posted and there is a quorum of council present. Everyone is here. If you will stand, Sergeant McClellan's going to lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right. There are no presentations or recognitions tonight. The next item on the agenda is public comments. This is for anyone to make a comment to City Council. It's not an agenda item. Bruce?
Well, here we go again, another couple months, still no bridge in Fond Meadow. Passing the buck, Harris County Flood Control, City of Missouri City. Beautiful golf course, beautiful other amenities in Missouri City. Fondren Road even has a little park that Missouri City takes over, and Fond Meadow is the bastard stepchild. It's a shame. It's a shame of all of you on council. If it wasn't for Yolanda, it wouldn't have gotten this kind of attention. Another issue is neglect in Fond Meadow. I see the code enforcement officer go through there more than a Missouri City police officer. So, I mean, you know, come on. Let's get on board here and pay a little more attention to Fond Meadow. You know, and quit having these elections during off cycles. You can have an election when we have a primary or a presidential election, but no, Missouri City wants to waste money on an extra election just for city elections. It's cronyism and it needs to stop. Elections need to be done when there's regular issues on the ballot and not paying extra for a special election.
Thank you. All right, item 5 are staff reports. City manager's report.
Mayor, several updates. I wanted to share with the council that the refunding that we've been talking about officially is 100% done as of today. Final paperwork has been signed and everything was completed. And I want to take this time to again thank my team, Bill Atkinson, Michael Higgins, Joe Marr, our financial advisor, for the work that they ended up doing. This was the city's largest ever bond issuance and the largest ever savings in one single transaction. So I want to take this time to thank them for their hard work. It will result for close to $8 to $10 million in savings over the next 20 years, which is more than twice the typical amounts on these refundings. So thanks again to the team. The Comprehensive Plan Advisory Committee will meet for the second time on Tuesday, March 29th. Tuesday, March 29th at 6 p.m. in the EOC training room at the Public Safety Headquarters. The meeting will include focus on existing conditions and future land uses. So again, that's the Comprehensive Plan Advisory Committee, Tuesday, March 29th at 6 p.m. On April 2nd, volunteers with the Fort Bend Health and Human Services will be conducting a community assessment for public health emergency response in a random selection of neighborhoods throughout our city. The survey is designed to assess public health needs in the event of an emergency. At this point, our communications team will share this information with citizens at HOA meetings, and we will post it on our citizens communication tools. I think congratulations in order. We had several of our staff that were recognized this week. Purchasing Manager Alan Phillips was named the 2016 Manager of the Year by the Southeast Texas Association of Purchasing Professionals. And I want to take this time, I don't know if he's here, but to congratulate him. He'll be honored on March 24th. Also, Interim Parks and Recreation Director Jim Brown, who presented this evening in special session, was recently honored as the Dan Whitworth Fellow Award recipient at the 2016 Texas Recreation and Park Society Institute and Trade Show in Galveston. This is the highest individual honor that the 2,000-plus member Texas Recreation and Park Society bestows on the recipients, and I want to take this time to recognize Jim. I think he's in the audience. If he can just stand and be recognized. Congratulations, Jim. Social media milestones, citizens continue to be engaged through our outlets, the Egapalooza and the Spring Break Camp post, and the bond refunding and the 60th anniversary collectively had about 6,000 people in the past 2 weeks alone to visit those posts. Special nod to the Parks and Recreation Spring Break programs, which were a big success. We received even 31 likes as well as 3 loves and 5 shares. So we're definitely keeping up with that. I want to lastly invite all to turn out this Saturday for the Brazos River Bike Rally. It was a kickoff and finish at the Sugar Cycles on Highway 6. Cyclists may compete in 20, 40, and 60. I plan to ride this weekend, Mayor, but I'm starting at 20. You know, they say you have to crawl before you walk, walk before you run.
Bike will take me.
So for more information, you can go to www.brazosriverbikerally.com for more information on that. A reminder, City Hall offices are closed Friday in observance of Good Friday. And basically, we want to make sure non-emergency personnel, non-emergency city offices will be closed Friday in observance of Good Friday. Finally, Mayor, congratulations to Councilmember Floyd Emery on his election to Vice Chair of the Houston-Galveston Area Council. Well deserved, sir.
Thank you. He's promised us more from HCAC. We didn't congratulate Don. He competed this weekend on that bike rally downtown Houston with the mayor, and he rode what? Did you ride 60 miles?
No, I went 40, but
Yeah.
it wasn't nothing nice. It was.
So I didn't know, sir, but next time I didn't know.
Yes, sir. He represented us at that ride and rode 40 miles.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I drove it.
Rode 39 more miles than I did.
I drove it in the car, you know. Very good job, Mr. Smith. He was getting ready for this coming weekend. So you got a lot of people signed up?
It's working out pretty good.
Very good. 7 o'clock, huh?
Starts at 8. You should be there at 7.
Yeah, I'll have to be there early. All right, item 6 is the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as written?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move item 6D, I believe it is.
D?
Yeah, 6D, the emergency special events.
No.
No, emergency base special. Yeah, it says 60.
Huh?
60.
I'm looking at it.
Oh, you're talking about E?
No, it says 6D. It's the cover memo for emergency special events, the ordinance.
That's different.
Where is that, is that it?
It is 60.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I got to go down.
You can look at it.
6D.
Yeah.
Okay? So your motion is to approve A, B, C, and E.
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Councilman White, second by Councilman Emery. All those in favor, motion carries. Then we'll take 6D. Is to consider,
I move to adopt for discussion purpose.
okay?
only.
Second.
Mr. Mayor, the reason why I asked this item to be removed, I don't think special events is appropriate for this item. And if you actually read the special events ordinance, it's kind of like trying to make something work into something, trying to fit something in something that doesn't really fit. You know, either we should go back to a workshop, but this is something, to me, should be more part of emergency management. Here we're talking about an emergency, and people coming in, we need to be able to provide them spaces. They shouldn't have to be submitting site plans and that drainage and all this type of stuff. If the Red Cross wanted to come in here, we should make sure that the Red Cross get a spot. You know, we got 3 parks in our city. We got water, we got toilets, we got electricity, everything in those parks that will be needed to support that. And I would propose, you know, even though it be under emergency management, under the recovery portion, but that doesn't mean that the fire department has to do it. I mean, somebody from development service could be assigned to take care of that, and then we know who all is in our city providing that service, and we can fix it where there's locations that our residents will be familiar with where to go.
Common, yeah.
Yeah, common.
Anthony, are there any logistical reasons on why you're,
Well, I'm going to ask Scott Elmer,
He
who's
just want thought
the
out.
operational head on that.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. In answer to your question, Councilmember Ford, the ordinance does not require them at any one location. Any location is open in the city and can be utilized. When we had staff discussions on this, particularly when we looked at parks, we did not know what, depending upon the type of event, say a hurricane, we have used our parks for debris collection locations as they've been closed to the public during that time frame. We don't know if we'd have damage in parks or no damage from parks, or we didn't know if electricity would be in the parks or not, or water and sewer would be in the parks, depending upon the size and the scale of any potential activity or location. Parks could be perfectly fine for this type of use. We just did not want to make a commitment up front saying it would be in a park and just leave it for wherever the applicant in the city could best fit that use when that specific incident happens.
Well, let's get something straight. My idea of a park is just what it is, an idea. This doesn't mean that it have to go in a park, but at the same time, these people bring their own generators. You know, this event was based off of the fact when one insurance company came and asked to set up in Lowe's parking lot. And we didn't have anything to cover that. And I think the city should be a lot more proactive in an event like that to make sure that if these companies are coming in to service our residents, that we make sure that we provide space for them. And at the same time, we know who's in the city and who's doing what. And we can assign them places, okay, that are adequate to take care, there may not be any lights or utilities or sewer anywhere in the city. When these people come in, they usually come prepared to deal with what's ever in front of them. So it's not like we have to say everything is working. If it's not working, they're gonna come prepared. I guarantee you, Red Cross, big old van, they're gonna have a toilet in it, they're gonna have water in it, they're gonna have everything they need to function in it. And what I'm saying is, I don't think they need to go through this cumbersome process when we got an emergency, and particularly, this is only at the recovery stage. I mean, the storm is gone. This is when people are coming in, and we're talking about recovering, people can go make their claims or what have you. And I'm just saying, I believe it works better. Well, I put it this way, this policy doesn't do what it needs to do. We're trying to take a special events policy for somebody who want to have a party in the park and try to make this situation fit it.
We still want them to be able to check in with the city.
Yes.
I think we still want that. I think what we're saying is, I know that I had to get involved with the one that went into Lowe's because they couldn't get the permit. They couldn't get, I guess at that time, the fire department had not done their inspections on the deal, and there was a whole thing that they were going through before they got it set up. I think all of us just want something that's in place that it basically says, you come to the city, you check in, and we assign you a spot.
That's right. We'll work with you with a spot,
I think
and
that's all we really want to say, is that we welcome you, but we want to register you so we know you're here, and we'll assign you a spot, and you don't have to go through anything else other than that, period. Now, I still assume that they've got to meet all the other regulations that are out there, and
they're gonna meet all the state regulations and you know, health requirements, they'll meet those.
yeah.
So that's my recommendation, is
Yeah.
let's send it back, let's get it worked on, Let's get it.
Simplify it.
Simplified where it works to the advantage of our residents in a crisis.
Yeah. You know, one of the things that we could look at, and I know it's sometimes hard to do it, is to centralize those
See what I'm saying?
into one place, like the community center, and allow them to set up their tables or their operations in our community center. Now, some of these are drive-through, like that one was a drive-through, it was for automobiles. It wasn't for flooding, and I know when FEMA was here, FEMA set up in the bank building down the street, but it was in one location. Everybody had one place to go, they didn't have to go over here and here, so we may even look at having that as a place that, in the event of a major disaster, because at least here, we got a generator setting out back, we know we got electricity, we know we've got water, we know we've got, the accommodations, and we just assign them pods inside the community center, and let them operate, and people know to come to the community center.
Well, Mayor, we've taken the feedback that we've received, and we have no problem with going back to the committee to try to get the best policy. This is staff's recommendation, but we understand that based
just
on the
make it
feedback that
simple.
we've received, we can be able to bring it back
Simple
later
for
on.
staff and simple for them. Don't
Really
make it a
simple for the
don't
public.
Make it a cumbersome thing that you gotta have 3 different departments involved in setting up something like this.
And we could be without power, so, make it simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So we'll not vote on D.
I'll withdraw my motion if we, or do I need to change my motion to send it back to amend to send it back to staff?
It depends on what your desire is. Would you like to send it back to?
Yes.
I guess it would go back to
Yeah, because
planning and
this is
zoning.
the second and final
actually.
reading. If it's
Yes.
approved tonight, it's done. So
Correct.
it needs to be removed
So we
and
could,
sent back.
we could either send it, or maybe have staff discuss where to go from here internally, then take it back to planning and zoning. But if you want to make a formal motion to do that, you can
Or
do that.
I can just simply withdraw and y'all have the understanding that's what we want?
Correct.
Okay, then I withdraw my motion. I just want to get it right.
You withdraw your motion to what?
And
If you withdraw your motion, it's still on here. You're
No,
withdrawing your motion to approve.
right.
Okay.
So it fails.
And you're withdrawing,
And it's a
and
second
you're
to
withdrawing your
withdraw?
motion to second.
Or
So
not
it-
fails, but it then goes.
So it dies from the lack of a motion.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you. Good. 7 are public hearings and related actions. There are no zoning public hearings or public hearings. 8 are appointments or no appointments. 9 are authorizations. 9A is to consider authorizing the purchase of a new street sweeper through the HGAC Cooperative Purchasing Program. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Councilman Emery made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
She want a street swept.
You take it to Fond Meadow? Huh? Okay. All right, Councilman Emery made the motion, Councilwoman Ford made the second. All those in favor? Motion carries.
request the other day.
Item B is consider authorizing the purchase of a new mud jack truck. You need that too?
Sure.
Yeah, okay, Councilwoman Ford made that takes care of the streets that need to be leveled, okay? So we've got them clean now, now we're gonna get them jacked up.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Councilman
Spend
Rulis.
some money tonight.
All those in favor, motion carries. Item C is consider authorizing the execution of a contract for the purpose of data center network equipment and services for the Department of Innovation Technology through the State of Texas Department of Information Resource Cooperative Purchasing Program. Mr. Smith, that's your motion. I
So
know
moved.
you're heavy into that. Is there a
Second.
second?
Second.
Councilman Wyatt made the motion, the second. All those in favor, motion carries. Item 10, ordinance is 10A.
An ordinance of the City of Missouri City, Texas, amending ordinance number O-1608, adopted on February 15, 2016, amending the election day and early voting polling places for the general election to be held on Saturday, May 7, 2016, providing for repeal, providing for severability, and making other provisions related to the subject.
And this is a one-time reading. Is there a motion?
Second.
Councilman Rulis made the motion. Who made the second?
Second,
Councilman
I
Wright.
want to get reelected. Second.
All those in favor, motion carries. 11 are resolutions, 11A.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Missouri City, Texas, ratifying the creation of the Missouri City Parks Foundation and the submission of the application for formation thereof, approving bylaws for said foundation, providing for repeal, providing for severability, and making certain findings relating thereto.
I move to adopt.
Second.
And tell
But I
everybody
would
what it
like
is.
to
Yeah, this,
Jim, to
for
kinda
the general public.
give a briefing.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. We spent a considerable amount of time going through a presentation earlier this evening. Happy to hit the highlights of that if you would like for the benefit of the audience, or okay, we'll do that. So the impetus behind this project really goes back to the 2015 Parks and Recreation Master Plan. One of the priority recommendations was to look at the creation of a nonprofit 501c3 foundation to help support capital projects in the parks system. It's also been discussed and recommended by the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board that this would be a good mechanism to help to support the entire mission and vision of the Parks and Recreation Department system as well. And the city manager agreed and asked staff to start working on a process to help facilitate the development of a successful 501c3 nonprofit foundation. You'll recall from the 2015 Parks and Recreation Master Plan, there's a substantial number of unfunded projects in that plan, and realizing that the city has limited resources and many competing demands for those resources, it's very important for us to look at all possible funding sources to help accomplish those goals. This nonprofit 501c3 foundation provides a vehicle for fundraising, for endowments, for grants, many of which are not eligible to municipal governments but would be eligible for a 501c3. And then it also provides tax benefits to those who choose to donate and provide contributions to that foundation. The emphasis is really looking at large-scale planned giving and partnerships, providing the opportunity for foundation-to-foundation giving, corporate giving, looking at planned giving through instruments like bequeathals and wills, individual family legacy gifts, and various grants. The beneficiary scope for this foundation would include parks and recreation facilities, trails, events, public art, and municipal facilities. So not just restricted to parks and recreation, but other municipal and civic projects would be eligible for consideration as well. It provides a vehicle for administering and securing private funds to enhance your park system. It would increase the whole entity of public funding for park system, and also adds to the community stewardship and sense of ownership. When people contribute and give and participate, they receive the value of that participation. The types of projects that would be eligible for support through this foundation would include any city projects that are included in approved master plans, such as the Park System Master Plan or Facilities Master Plan, anything that this body has reviewed and included and approved in a master plan. Projects that have been identified and supported by Mayor and Council in the Capital Improvement Program. Any of your existing city facilities would also provide as a repository for donations of land, the value of which could be used for matching fund grants from the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department. So another added value benefit of having a arm's length 501c non-profit corporation. It could include public art and parks and public spaces, city events, and any other opportunistic priority that's approved by the City Council to consider in terms of eligible projects. Tonight we're talking about adopting bylaws, and so addressing the governance of this nonprofit 501c3. There would be a board of directors that the Mayor and Council will be appointing. That board of directors will vet those proposed donations, provide feedback and counsel back to the mayor and council prior to any acceptance of donations. The various members of city management, the department directors, your various advisory boards would all be available to provide technical expertise and advice and feedback when needed to that group. But the key point is the city council has the final authority on the acceptance of any donations to the city, and that all donations become the property of Missouri City upon acceptance. The bylaws that you're considering to approve through the resolution this evening define the purpose of the foundation. We've added in educational components due to some discussion about pass-through opportunities for scholarships, and then also added verbiage related to equipment, given that there's certain large-scale equipment that would be appropriate to be donated through this foundation as well. It defines the number of qualifications, terms, and appointment of our board of directors, talks about scheduling meetings, what's a quorum, what comprises an executive committee within that foundation, includes the appropriate conflict of interest language, so we make sure we're handling those issues appropriately. It talks about the duties and responsibilities of your various directors, and that the officers of that board of directors, the president will be appointed by the mayor and city council. Then the vice president, secretary, and treasurer would be elected from within that board of directors. The directors would be serving staggered two-year terms, so you have continuity of service on that board and maintain that institutional knowledge moving forward. The bylaws address the various finance issues with regards to establishing a fiscal year, establishing a budget, banking, payment processes, et cetera. Another aspect of the bylaws talks about if the foundation were ever to be dissolved, that all the assets that belong to the foundation would be transferred to the ownership of the city, and that any changes to the certificate of formation or the bylaws proposed by that board of directors would require the ultimate approval of the mayor and council to be ratified and implemented. This evening, if you approve the resolution, these bylaws will become effective. We'll be continuing the process of moving forward in completing the institution of this nonprofit 501c3 foundation. Several of the city's strategic 2019 goals are addressed through this project, including creating a great place to live, maintaining a financially sound city, and having quality development through build-out. So with that, staff would recommend that the mayor and city council approve the resolution that ratifies the creation of the Missouri City Parks Foundation and approves the bylaws of that same foundation. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
I think it's great.
Good.
Good work.
There was a motion by Councilman, Mayor Pro Tem Smith, and a second by Councilwoman Ford, is that right? All those in favor? Motion carries. Very good, thank you. Item 12 are city council announcements. Chris, have any?
Yeah, I wanted to thank everyone that participated in the 2016 Male Spring Break Initiative. I hosted that, and it was a great time to engage the students of our community in a positive outlet for spring break and to keep them engaged. And Officer McKinnis showed up and talked to the students, City Manager Snipes, the Fort Bend Regional Council, and they learned about civic engagement and financial literacy. So thank you to all of the partners. We're looking forward to doing it again in 2017.
Good, thank you. Jerry? Lloyd?
No.
Councilwoman Ford? Anthony? Don? Remind council that Thursday night is the mayor and council, Fort Bend Mayor and Council's meeting. It's at Meadows Place. We're going to talk about butterflies. Migration of monarch butterflies, which if you've not seen is very important to agriculture. And
Did you get your bike tuned up, your bike for this weekend?
yes, Don has my bike lined up. They're charging it now.
And I just have to put gas in my bike.
Yeah. And as far as that battery will go, as far as I will go, baby.